So here's kind of this diagram you'll see a number of times is really kind of the acquisition flow as I put it together, right? And really kind of the point is to kind of focus on these main bubbles here is the is the fact that there are stages involved with the collection process, right? You can see here is like this is the end phase, the response phase, but there are multiple steps in between before we even get to actually collecting data, right? And this is really kind of all part of preparing yourself before you actually get in front of the end user's computer. So some of the steps that you'll be interested in kind of taking care of, and a lot of you have probably already done this if you have kind of a forensic lab, but it's good to kind of talk about it, is that you're going to have things like creating a tool set, right? You're going to have your write blockers and your boot disks that you're going to have for Linux, Linux boot disks or whatever else, Helix, Cane, whatever. You're going to have your known incident response tools, so some of the things that you use for performing incident response, whether they be things that you've created or tool sets that you've downloaded or whatever. You're also going to have virtual machines, right? And I have stars next to virtual machines. Virtual machines are a forensic examiner's best friend. You will love virtual machines. They make your job so much easier. If you don't have VMware, get it. If you can't get VMware because somebody won't pay for it, get VirtualBox, right? Get something to do virtualization. You'll love it. Then you're also going to have things like storage and adapters, different things that you'll need for doing evidence collection, right? A lot of this is kind of beyond the scope of this class, but things that you kind of put together. And one of the most important things is that you'll need to familiarize yourself with the tools as well, right? Just saying, hey, I have this tool, it really isn't enough, right? You need to know how to use it, right? You need to know the commands that are associated with it and things like that. And there are situations where NCASE and FTK just won't do the job. So some of the steps you're going to kind of be looking at, right, is kind of building a trusted tool set, right? And there are classes that will discuss kind of, building tools and kind of statically compiling executables and doing all that other stuff, right? It's a little bit outside of the scope of this, right, because we would just take up too much time doing it. I would encourage you to familiarize yourself with that process. But really, it's more about just knowing the tools that you need and having them in the right place, right? So it's important to kind of to have tools for the purposes of like things like if you're responding to a Linux system, are they going to have something like DCFLDD or DC3 installed on that system? It's very unlikely unless you happen to be responding to another forensic person's computer, right? Is that you can't rely on those tools being there that you'll need to do your job. Right, so it's good to have kind of those canned tools available to you on CD or thumb drive or whatever else. And the important thing is that that I really want to stress is that you're going to develop the tools in your lab, right? You're going to either put the tool sets together or whatever else, but mostly you're going to test them and familiarize yourself with them. This is the process where the thing that's great about virtual machines and it's great about having test environments is that you can test a switch or something like that that's associated with the command and see what it does, right? If it breaks your machine, you probably don't want to run that on other machines, right? But you won't know that, and the worst case scenario is then you revert your virtual machine and start over again, right? Don't run that switch, right? Or familiarize yourself with the things that are available. And one of the things I also want to point out is that not all systems in the world are Windows, as you're probably aware. There are Linux systems out there. Mine, for example, is running Ubuntu. There are Mac systems, as we see here as well. And BSD and other flavors that are out there is to be aware that there are other operating systems out there that you need to be kind of prepared to tackle.